Welcome back to How to Discord. This is episode 2. Today we'll be looking at advanced Discord features. We did have nitro boosting added recently, which is a brand new, very cool feature, and we will be taking a little look at that later. But let's go ahead and jump right into this video, guys. Alright, so we're back here on my alt account. We'll just be taking a look inside the Discord. So as you can see here, this is Nitro Boost. Now, when you're making a server, you're going to have several different settings that are either server side and then some that are client side. Right here, you'll be hiding channels that are muted. So, for example, I have this channel right here, and then there's the general channel that's muted. If I click that button, it hides all the muted channels from your server channel list, which can be very helpful if you're just not wanting to deal with certain channels that can spam you, like if there's a webhook or if it's a count to such a big number, etc. So let's go ahead and unhide that. Next, we'll take a look at this. You can also change your nickname by right-clicking and typing in a nickname, or if you just want to go back to your normal name, just click reset, and then you do have to save. Privacy settings. So you can allow or disallow direct messages from server members automatically from this little drop-down up here. And you can also set your notification settings. So you can mute test, you can mute this server altogether. You can choose what kind of notifications you want to receive. All messages are not recommended on community servers or big servers like AYS, just for the reason that there are so many members that you're probably going to be getting a message every millisecond. At mentions just basically means you'll keep notifications off except for if you are specifically mentioned, or you can just turn off notifications altogether for any one server. You can suppress everyone and here, so you don't get mentions. You don't see a little badge at the bottom that says mentions. You can also turn on or off mobile push notifications if you have a phone tied to your account, or an app on your phone, I should say. You can also choose different channels to override default notification settings as well, which can be very useful as well. Next, you've got these buttons up here, but first we'll take a look at invite. Now, depending on the server, if they have invite or instant invite turned off, you may not be able to see this button. What this does is it allows you to create an invite to your server, specifically whatever channel you're in at the moment. However, if they have it set up to where when you join, you get a certain role or don't have any roles at all, and you can only see one channel and you have to verify, this will not work, and it will automatically send you to that channel. I'll be showing you how to create that later in our community video. You can also set the settings to expire after so much time, or even never. No limit, or up to 100 uses, depending on what you want your user limit to be. You can also set it so it grants temporary membership only, and they're kicked when they disconnect from Discord unless a role has been assigned to them. So that's your run-of-the-mill invites. Next, you have the create channel button. Text channel, voice channel. That's just how it's created. You can also create a category, just to be clear, if you're seeing a hashtag symbol next to a name, that makes it a text channel. A speaker next to it will mean voice. And then anything that has a little drop-down arrow, like this, that has boldened text, and depending on if you own the server or not, a plus button, that is a category. Then we'll take a look inside the actual server settings themselves. So you can set your channel icon to whatever. You just click on it and create, or you find an icon within your file system and upload it that way. You can also change your server name. This one's a little trickier. Not too bad though, because if you live in certain regions of the world, they do have servers placed in certain areas, so it's easier for you to connect to Discord, not have as many problems with lag or ping or anything. So there's Brazil, Central Europe, Hong Kong, India, Japan, Russia, Singapore, South Africa, Sydney, U.S. Central, East, Southwest, and Western Europe. So depending on where you live, one of these would be best to choose for your server, not just US East, which is the default if you live here. You can also set an AFK channel if you have a voice channel for this, as well as a timeout from 1 minute to 1 hour, which means that if they haven't spoken or if they've been idle for a certain specified time, they will be sent to that channel. You can also, what system messages, system messages channel is like the welcome channel, kind of. You can send random welcome messages or send a message when someone boosts a server to this channel. I do not recommend this channel or using this feature, mainly because it looks ugly. Simple as that. It's just ugly. A lot of people use bots for that feature, like Me6 or Dino or Welcomer. I think is the best bot to use for welcome channels specifically. But if you're not looking for anything too fancy, I just go with Dino or Me6. So you can set it to no system messages or to a specific channel if you do want to use this feature. And if you're a server owner, you can also set the default notification settings so people can either receive all messages or at mentions by default if they have not set a setting for it yet. Wrong move on my part. I will be right back. Alright, let's take a look at moderation now. So you can set a verification level for your server. There's different levels. There's none, low, medium, table flip, and then what I like to call rage table flipping. So none, it just means you don't turn people away whatsoever unless if you're using a bot. Low means they have to have a verified email on their Discord. This is the least secure, but I highly recommend at least doing this if anything. If you don't want to go. But my highest recommended setting is medium. Which that one means you have to be registered for more than 5 minutes. This way you can at least prevent the chance of there being someone being banned and then a minute later getting an alt on there and raiding. It at least puts some time in between that. Table flip means someone has to be a member of a server for longer than 10 minutes, which basically this just mutes them and they can't talk for about 10 minutes. Then there's table flipping, which has all of these verification levels, except they also have to have a verified phone on their Discord account. This one is the most secure setting because they have to have a verified phone number. They can only have one verified phone number per account, and one phone can be used per account, if that makes sense. So it makes it way harder to get an alt on your server this way, should they want to cause any damage. You can also set an explicit content filter if you are into that. You can set it to not scan messages, so it doesn't filter anything. You can scan messages from anyone without a role, which means that if they have a role at all whatsoever, then they're basically exempt from the filter. But this isn't recommended because lots of servers use roles for different things, even just being a member. So this one's not recommended too much. Scanning messages by all members. This one will keep your server clean for the most part. It doesn't catch everything, but it does its job. You can also turn on server two-factor authentication. So anyone who has administrative access to anything needs to have this enabled in order to actually make changes. But this does require them having a phone with a 2FA authenticator. So I don't know how many servers use this, to be honest. You also have an audit log, so you can filter by a member, user. You can also search by different actions, including an update to a server, just whatever, creating, updating, or deleting a channel, updating or deleting channel permissions or creating channel permissions, kicking, pruning, or banning members, unbanning, updating a member, or updating member roles, creating, updating, or deleting roles, creating, updating, or deleting invites, creating, updating, or deleting webhooks. You're seeing the pattern here, and it does this for emojis, messages, webhooks, invites, everything. It logs everything. It's just not too user friendly, depending on what type or how big your server is. You can also create roles. We won't get into this one too much, but we'll take a basic look into the role permission system. This one makes it so that the role has its own. The role is shown above everyone else. So instead of just being in their name, they're put above the other roles on this totem system. You can also set it so anyone can mention the role, but if you turn this off, no one, not even administrators, can mention a role. So that one's a tricky case. Administrator just gives you all the permissions, but not only that, you also have access to all channels, no matter what happens or what you set the role to in a channel. They will be able to access it and do whatever with it. That one's recommended for like management or owner roles, depending on how you set up a server. So be careful with that permission specifically. You can view audit log, manage server, manage roles. Roles just means you're able to work with all this as long as it's below yours. Manage server, you can change its name or move regions. You can manage different channels like creating and adding them. Kick, ban, creating instant invite, change nicknames. Those are all self-explanatory. Managing nicknames means you can change other people's nicknames. So if they have something inappropriate in their name or nickname even, you can change it. Manage emojis means you can add emojis over here. Manage webhooks, which means basically what a webhook is. It's treated similar to a bot, and it does have the bot name next to it, except it's not run using the Discord API for bots. It's actually, you get a link for it, and I'll explain that a little bit more later or in a later video. And you go to a automation service, and they listen for changes to a certain type of website, whether it's using an RSS feed or if it's a Reddit post, etc. And it hooks them together and posts it to a Discord channel. That's kind of what this does, and that's what I was talking about earlier with spam. Because like with subreddits like r/memes or whatever, they'll have posts almost every other minute. So that's why some servers choose to have at mentions turned on for their default notification setting, but not all servers do that. Read text channels and see voice channels. That one just means that you can see all the channels that your role is allowed to, I guess. Send messages, that's self-explanatory. Send TTS message, that one's a little different. So you would do slash TTS. Excuse me. And the message after that, and what that does is if you're in a voice channel, that will have the automated speaker say, usernames has said you know, like, so if this can be used for trolling, like, say for example, not Dino says WW, and that's where that whole troll comes from, is slash TTS. So often this permission is turned off by a lot of servers. Manage messages means you can delete messages or pin any message. Embed links and attach files are self-explanatory. Read message history means any message that has been posted before and is not new in the channel can be viewed. Otherwise, they're not allowed to be viewed. Mention everyone. That one's a good permission to turn off in most cases, because the everyone role, as you can see here, is given to literally everyone on the server. They join with that one at all times, no matter how you have it set up. So if you mention everyone, that's going to mention everyone, and that actually can anger a lot of people, so this one's a good one to turn off. It also does at here, which basically means that you're mentioning everyone that's online. Simply that. Use external emojis. So if you have Nitro and other servers have posted emotes or emojis, you can use those emotes or emojis in the server with that permission turned on. Add reactions. So you can go to a message and then react to it with an emoji or an emote, external or not, depending on if this setting's turned on. But you can make it so people can't react to messages, but that's really not something you want to do, is turn them off. Keep them on. A lot of people really like to have or be able to react to messages. It just gives Discord a lot more interactivity in that sense. Connect and speak, self-explanatory. You can connect to a voice channel, speak, voice channel. Mute, deafen. Mute just means you can mute another member. Deafen. So what Discord has is there's a feature that you can give to staff where if you connect in a channel, you can right-click on them and click Server Deafen, which is this button right here, which means they can't hear anything that's being said and they can't speak either. So that's that's the deafen permission. Or deafen members. There's move members too, which means you can click on their name and drag them to another voice channel. There's use voice activity. If you have that turned on, they don't need push to talk. But if this is turned off, they have to have a push to talk key binding and use it in order to actually speak in a channel. Priority speaker just means that their voice is carried higher than other voices in a voice channel, so this can be used in an owner situation if you're trying to do a podcast instead of muting people. That's the basic gist of it. And then also when you're joining a voice channel, pardon me, when you're also joining a voice channel, you can also, if there's another member in there, you can right click on their name and it will show an option to disconnect them now. That didn't used to be a feature, but that was added in recently. Was to disconnect another member. Not yourself, because there's a button down here for that. Just to make that clear. Integrations. This one's used for Twitch or YouTube. If you have them linked to your account and you have a certain amount of subscribers or members, you can make it so that they get a certain role if they joined, if they have subscribed, or whatever fits to you. There's also the server emoji feature, which means you can upload a picture like that one, and then you can react to it, which, like I had said in a previous video, it's 2 colons male, and then the name of the emotion or emote or emoji as an alias to use inside of there. You can also have GIF or GIF emojis. I don't know how you all pronounce it. But that one's only if you have Nitro. Webhooks we did explain a little earlier. You just create a name for it. Whatever channel you want to post the webhook in. An icon for the webhook. And then this will give you a URL for the webhook to post with, or to hook into when you're creating it using an automation service like IFTTT. There's also widget, which just allows you to get certain settings about your server, like your ID, JSON API link, or your pre-made widget if you want to post this on website. You can also set your default instant invite channel. There's also user management pages here. So you can view all the members here and then filter by role. You can also search for a member. And what pruning does is it allows you to remove all members that do not have a role. But if they have a role, it will not work. This is where you can list your invites. So any instant invites that have been created will be listed here with its code, which is put after discord.gg and then /. This is where that code would go. The number of uses that it has, or the number of times it has been used, and then the time until it expires. Or if it has an infinity symbol, it means it's never going to expire. You can also revoke it by clicking that X button next to it. Next, you can also take a look at bans. So if you have banned someone using a bot or using your right-click context menu in Discord, you can right-click them, ban them, and then you can revoke a ban here should you ever change your mind. That's the advanced features. Aside from viewing pins, the member list can be toggled. And then there's also, you can mute a channel from up here as well. You can view mentions in all servers or this server. You can view the help page if you click on that link. And there's also Nitro server boosting. So if you go into the server settings and into there, you can enable, you can get server boosts, and depending on the number of boosts, you get a level with certain perks. So you can get plus 50 emojis, animated server icon, 128 kilobytes per second audio quality, and then also custom server splash background. So that's what you see when you are invited to a server. This is what would show up instead of the normal Discord invite background that you see. Level 2 perks, you can get another 50 emojis for your server, so that turns out to be 150. You can get a server banner, which is actually showed up here. So instead of just drop down menu, it'll show a banner. You can also get 260 kilobytes per second audio quality, high definition, and then also a 50 megabyte upload limit for all members. Which is actually a lot better than before what you could use, but it's only in server. It's not for all servers that the member is in. Then there's level 3, which is 100 server emoji slots extra, so it turns out to be 250, 384 kilobytes per second audio quality, 100 megabyte upload limit, and a vanity URL. I cannot stress how much this feature right here is wanted, because previously you could only get it if you were partnered with Discord in some way, or I think verified with Discord. There are some rules, but this one is a very highly sought after feature, and now that they've added that in as a Nitro boost feature, lots of people are going to be wanting to boost these servers like or advertiser server, just to get this feature. If nothing else, the vanity URL is going to be the greatest perk probably in Nitro boosting. So that's an advanced look at the Discord server setup, advanced Discord permissions and setup. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the AYS YouTube channel. Make sure to leave a comment down in the description on what you thought of the video, and some ideas you might have about using Discord permissions in a certain way, or these features that might have not been thought of before. Hope you all have a good day, and this is Hydra signing off.